بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نشكر جميع الحضور الذين
We
واصلوا
would like to thank all the participants that are with us online and in person in the last session for the day. It is the second day of ARIJ 18th Annual Forum. I am delighted to be with my colleague Nadine Asaifi. My name is Rawan Adlam, and in a session to listen to you. It is an interactive session for everybody. What are the most important challenges facing you in your work, and how do you deal with that? This year, our motto is Rise to the Challenge. We would like you to identify the main challenges and how to deal with them. Every person from the virtual and in person will be given 2 minutes as a maximum. 1 minute from the online participants and one from the participants in person, which will enhance our work as investigative journalists and fact checkers in our area. You can also write in the virtual world, and we shall try to take audio and video from the virtual world, but we can also read the comments through the Q&A, and we shall be interactive with that in a spontaneous manner. The question is, how do you challenge and why? What really distinguishes that session are two main things, is that you are not here to listen to us. We are not going to speak today, but we are going to open the floor for all the people that are in here. Maybe we did not have sufficient time in the previous session, but here we have 1.5 hours for you and all the people in the virtual world. And this is the reason why people will be with us in that hybrid session in this forum. And we shall be delighted to listen to many things. Maybe, for example, things that are not joyful because these are related to the challenges, but it will be an opportunity to find solution. We have a lot of people operating in the Arab world, and uh, also what can really facilitate our work as a journalist can become a challenge in light of the AI and also the social network, which might open for us the road. And we found that part of the world has turned against us and started practicing different things against us. We started talking about the digital violence. There are many challenges facing each one of us, male and female, each one in our country and in our profession. Therefore, anyone that would like to participate, you can stand up here before the microphones. And like my colleague Rawan has said, there will be fairness and justice. We are going to take one participant from the people that are here in person and also the people that are with us online. And we would like to thank them for participating with us during the last 2 days. And we also have interpretation via Zoom, and our colleagues from the technical support will be there in order to provide you with the help, and will be giving us a signal if anyone from the people online would like to speak. So now we open the floor for questions and answer, and each one will be given between 1 or 2 minutes. You can go to the mic to the right or the left. Kindly tell us your name, from which organization or country, in order to get to know you better. Al-Shibani, Tunisian journalist. And my question is about the challenges. Like it was mentioned by Ms. Nadine, there are different tools that have been developed similar to the AI. I would like to ask, in light of the economic circumstances which the media outlet and the journalists are facing in the Arab countries, these institutions have the necessary tools to train their journalists in the newsrooms on how to use the AI and also on the best practices in order for this AI not to turn out to become a tool to influence the audience. In particular, we have disinformation. We are living in the revolution of AI. We are in that revolution, and in order to learn AI, we don't need a lot of financing. But the issue of financing weakens the training and learning in all these sectors, and hence we are facing a problem of financing in the independent media. The media has suffered from a decreased decline in its financing, but it doesn't mean that we do not need to rise to the channel. We arise to face the different circumstances, and there are many tools. Learning them doesn't need a lot of financing, but this needs time and effort, and also this needs means resources. And now we are under difficult circumstances, and we need to find other sources to finance that work because we cannot continue working on voluntarism for a long period of time. Also, Rawan, if you allow me to add that what was mentioned by Kibra, as a journalist, we need to keep pace and then to learn. And we at the ARIJ, we follow that path. And what we have done recently is that we have issued the ARIJ a guide for the investigative journalists, and in particular in light of the AI, because we found that there are a lot of gaps in that field. And I am also a journalist, and I believe that we need to enhance our knowledge in that field. We are responsible in the first place. So the first challenge is that we need to be transparent, and also we need to be impartial. But now impartiality is measured by one standard or two. And we in the whole, we are going to be listening to you and not you listening to us. Or whoever would like to participate, they can stand up near the microphone, and you can stand in line behind the microphone and share us with your opinion, what kind of challenges you are facing in your work as a journalist, and also if you have an idea how we can overcome those challenges. And these are available for the people that are with us in the hall and the people with us online. Thank you, Yazan Hamayed. I am a correspondent from Palestine. There is a challenge I have been thinking of, which is the dominance of algorithms that became our part in the newsroom, in particular the local newsrooms that do not have an idea how to deal with the gateway, the new gateway, which is the effect of the algorithm and the effect of those algorithms on the Palestinian narrative. We are forced to use certain terms that delineate the Palestinian narrative. Um, uh, for example, in the local media outlet, how to deal with those algorithms, and the newsroom, how they can deal with those algorithms. And this is extremely important, and we are concerned about supporting all the institutions in that field in collaboration with technological firms or through training, and how to conduct investigative journalists using the AI. We have today launched a new methodology on using AI because we know the harm of those algorithms. So it is extremely important to work on that in the Arabic language. Uh, on the microphone for the people online and for the sake of translation. And you can stand up in line as of now. You can stand up in the queue. My name is Abdul Karim Al Wahsh. Also, a continuation for that question I consider extremely important now in the newsrooms, how we deal directly or indirectly on an individual level with the AI and the creation of content, or at least in the drafting of the content. Of course, we have conventional tools, but when we develop the content, sometimes we resort to the AI. And in the newsrooms, we rely to the AI detector um, to know how many viewers we have. And so we started questioning what are the limits, what is permissible and what is not. Uh, uh, it is writing on your behalf, and maybe it has a better style than you. And so here we start questioning what is permissible or not. And sometimes AI hallucinates and makes mistakes. And hence use a certain description or terms. We are not using them, these are being published under your name on your behalf. And here I have a question: who will be legally responsible in that case? In that case, the problems might arise. AI committed that mistake, but I did publish. This is one of the strange questions. As long as we are talking about legal responsibility and technology, if published wrong information, what can we do? This was one of the questions which we asked amongst ourselves and wanted to know the limits. Mr. Abdul Karim is raising an issue that is being questioned now in all the newsrooms around the world, and not only in our region. The limit to use AI in the text, photo, translation, audio, all the areas of the journalism. So it is important for every media outlet to agree on a code of ethics on the use of AI and code of conduct, but it will be similar to the internet. The sky is the limit. We in journalists, we have seen the three revolutions, the internet, the mobile phone, and now AI. Internet, when it started, we started raising the same question, and now we are telling them we do not want to repeat the same mistakes of 1 and 2. And this is why we need to maximize the benefit from using AI and to share and blame and shame. We as a human being, we are responsible for that mistake. If anything has been published, then we shall be responsible. The court, if we went to the court, it will say, well, you are responsible for that. This is similar to publishing any news or any information from any source. I really like the idea that these questions are being raised in the newsrooms, but unfortunately, some newsrooms are keeping their eyes closed and do not want to discuss that issue. And the techniques of AI, I believe that the issue starts with the journalist and ends with the journalist. We are the judges at the end of the day. If I want to create a content or rewrite the content, I will not take it from AI and publish it as is. At the end of the day, I will be the one to be blamed. I am not going to blame ChatGPT or any other application. I need to be blamed because I have the human mind and not a machine that has a previous pattern. Or so the issue starts with the journalist and ends with the journalist. You use the AI and it does hallucinate, and you audit it, and then there are mistakes. And we also have participants online. Are we going to see them and hear them on the screen until the technical support will be able to make them ask the question? We are going to receive other questions from the room. Anyone that would like to ask a question, please stand in queue behind the microphones. Assalamu alaikum. This question is, can we know you? My name is Ayal Khid. I am a fact checker, but I was teaching journalism in the past. If I went back to teaching journalism, the students want to use AI. How can I make them understand without discouraging them from the using AI, because they will use it whether we like it or not. Uh, this AI or Google is taking all the results and is giving you one outcome based on the algorithm. Maybe, for example, the outcome that will be published to your page is different from mine. How can I explain that to them without discouraging them? Me now, when I am addressing those young adults that are 18 or 19 years of age, either they will feel discouraged or they will tell me that you are old and scared of that technology and uh, you don't want to use it and you don't want us to use it. What do you see? Thank you so much. This question is addressed to every mother and father and every teacher. The children now at school, maybe in grade one, use different AI tools, and hence we need to spread the AI literacy, i.e., to use all the tools of AI. One, we need to know them, we need to study them, we need to know how to deal with them, to know the different limitation. And the radio, once it was made, there were articles that the radio is really bad. It will make problems in the homes. So when the TV was being created, people said that TV is not allowed inside the homes. The same with the internet and the same with the smartphones. And now it is being repeated. So the same thing we are going to have all the time. Some people now use radio, TV, internet, and mobile phone in a harmful way. Yes, the people use it in a good way. Yes, it is a double-edged sword, and we need to deal with all of that. We don't have definite answers, and therefore, we during noon time we had AI in Arabic, and we had a journalist that have trained on AI. And not only people that are 18 years of age, people that are 30 and 40 years of age working in the newsrooms. And in particular, that during the last 18 months, the development of AI was not a normal one. 2 years ago, things were different, and we need to find answers to those questions.
Let's try from the virtual world. If possible, could you open the mic, Michael, because you have raised your hand, and when you open the microphone, we will be able to hear you.
سامعني؟ تمام، كده سامعني؟
Can you hear us? Yes.
مساء الخير وكل
Good evening, everybody. And I'm very happy that we have a participation, and this is very good. In light of the topic that we are talking about, I see a platform in front of us, and there's a challenge in the idea to handle or to access information. This is very difficult. It is similar to sometimes as if it's a battle. Well, handling the idea of journalist, it has a fear from the influencers or from the officials. You may handle an information, but people are fearful from journalists. This is a challenge
شغل كتير
that
وعملنا
needs lots
يعني
of work, and it leads
نبحث ازاي ان
lead us
احنا
to search how could we face such a challenge, how to handle it. Correct. Well, I believe, Michael, what was mentioned is very important. But a journalist, when we think about accessing to information, you go to the extreme that is concealing or to work undercover. But there are things that is easier. And sometimes my colleague in the fact checkers and open resources specialists, you see the information that are more information scattered everywhere. And sometimes it is more broad open and it is clear for people, but you need to search for it. Apart from that, other information that could be classified as secrets, and they need more effort to access it. But we have the critical eye, we have the good ear, and we have the mind that analyze all of what we hear and all of what we see. Sometimes we are in a social event or we go to an event for the public relations and we come out with lots of information that may pay for more. And that does not abolish that the right to access information is a right prohibited in many of the Arab countries. And when it is available, it is restricted with 1,000 restrictions. Yes, please go ahead. Hello. I'm Yaqub Hajilan from Algeria. I'm a journalist and a founder of a newspaper. First, we want to speak about our topic about the open discussion in the challenge. For me, I see that raising the ceiling of the quality is a challenge on itself, meaning that we say it bluntly. The role of ARIJ is not only about training as a media institution. We say that ARIJ is an incubator of standards that raise quality within the institutions of the media. It is not only for journalists. Well, you know, today when we think of raising quality and raising the level inside of media outlets, it is also through the work that the journalists do. We, in the future institution, and in fact, we have benefited a lot from ARIJ in the different phases, and we hope to be working more in fact checking and the data journalism. And with that, I say, for me in person, how could we let journalism and the fact checking a strategic option within this institution and not only for an individual? There's another challenge as an Algerian that next year they implement that the presentation of Algeria will be more. This will delight us to have more representation from all of the Arab countries, in particular the Arab uh, West, because you are concerned with the quality, and the quality will create an effect. We are keen on zero faults. Well, in the news world, sometimes the correspondents have a mistake, and the information is not complete. But in depth report, in investigative reports, in these things, there should be a zero fault because we take our time to study this, and therefore we are very keen on this issue for, in fact, having an impact, and also to have a silence for any voices that will say there are problems in the content. And perhaps we have risen hands. Please go ahead, Ra'ad or Ra'ad, because the name is written in English. If you can open your mic and speak and introduce yourself. Good evening. I'm journalist Ra'ad Naqshbandi. We can hear you, Ra'ad. Please go ahead. Well, the most challenge that we have faced when I sought asylum in Sweden is the language. The language was the most important obstacle for me. And thank God I was able to overcome this obstacle. And I also had a difficulty of the difficulties I faced as a journalist. I left my colleagues, I left everything behind me in Syria, and that have affected me a lot. And after that, what assisted me to integrate in the community and to be the first journalist the voice is glitching in the municipality elections and in the parties in Sweden. Thank you for your intervention, Ra'ad. That is beautiful. It's an inspiring story that a Syrian a journalist integrated in Sweden, and we value the journalists in the diaspora. There should be those who had to leave their countries because of the different world conditions and the conflicts. And these challenges are a lot. And we are very happy, Raed, that you are with us on the virtual world. We will take the guest and then Hassan from the virtual world. علي بحاج from بلاد المجتمع radio in Yemen. I wanted to ask about the strategies of ARIJ in supporting journalism and investigative journalism in Gaza within the current situation that the strip is facing. Thank you a lot. We, in our strategy, since the start of the war on Gaza, we have given a priority to support journalism in Gaza because ARIJ over 20 years have trained uh, 90 journalists in Gaza. They are our family, and since the beginning of the genocide and the war, we try to assist them in networking with international entities the Reporters Without Borders to give them back their items. They have lost their houses, their equipment. So therefore, the journalists who do not have a mobile or a laptop or a camera, they assisted them through the international institutions. We have assisted more than 300 journalists with high levels of professionalism in the work during the genocide. And at the same time, we have interacted with investigative reports. In the beginning, we did not believe that Israel is targeting journalists in Gaza with direct killing. We haven't believed that in the beginning when they have said that they were targeted because they are journalists. But within the investigative report that launched from this forum in December 2023 with Forbidden Stories in France, Paper Trail Media in Germany, and The Guardian in the UK, that was the first one for launching the investigative report in Gaza that was published in June 2024 and then in March 2025. And also, we have produced investigative reports from Gaza. One are nominated to the awards tomorrow. And we are continuing to produce investigations with the journalists in Gaza, despite that usually with the war and the genocide, you cannot produce investigative reports. But the exception came because the journalism in Gaza, the journalists told us if we have waited, Israel is methodologically wiping out all of the and the proofs and the evidence on the crimes that were made. Therefore, we are keen on the continuation on these investigative reports and the continuation of the online training in Gaza that is besieged. We hope that the genocide ends and Palestine in general, in the pressures in the West Bank and in the southern part of Lebanon and Syria. Yes. And then we will go to the virtual world. Hello, everybody. Mus'ab Al-Yassin, a Syrian journalist. Well, the most important challenge that we can be able to attend the conference. This year we came face to face. Even ARIJ have went to the Damascus. Rawan and her team visited Damascus, and that was an excellent step to break the borders to access the Syrian journalists. But today, after publishing Damascus files, there another challenge risen, in particular regarding ARIJ and the colleagues in Siraj, as they are in Syria. After publishing these files, we have seen that there is a massive attack on us, whether in ARIJ or in Siraj, for not publishing pictures and the documentation that are from the files of Damascus. There are institutions and there are entities that have seen that publishing pictures of the victims or the documents the investigation team have received from the military sites or others should be published with the pictures of the victims. There was a lot of controversy that happened. Should we publish these pictures and documents so that the families of the victims know the face, or they will be handled like the documents based on the professionalism and the academia? In fact, since many days until today, this is the work that is going on in Syria and the talk that is in Syria. Thank you. Yes, we have participated in the files with the International Federation for Investigative Journalists, and we have followed with Daraj and Siraj and other platforms about the ethics in the publishing and the timing of the publishing. We are with publishing the truth. And these documentations prove that there are some absentees that are now, we know that they are victims, they were killed. So therefore, this information should be published. This is very important. But how could we announce about the families of the victims? Well, the mother of the victim should not know about it from the media. She should know in everywhere, in Palestine, in Syria, in Yemen, she should know that her son martyred, not from the media. But this is the base, and from this discussion, I believe that this does not put aside the importance of publishing the information, but the timing is pivotal. Hassan, in the virtual world, please go ahead. Could you open your mic? Good evening. We appreciate all of the guests, and this is a conference that we wait to from a year to the other. And this year, it is we challenge. My name is Hassan Al Abbani, and I'm a member in the Journalists Union. I believe that the slogan "Rise to the Challenge" is very important. We are before rising to the challenge, and not the AI, a partner, not an alternative. We are in a challenge to make a worth and the presence for the main principles of the journalist work and the code of conduct, and that we are working with the AI because we see this part. We are before a fight of existence to maintain the principles, the embracing the technology and the AI that comes. We should be using it and to tame this main beast to serve us and not to corrupt what we have from principles and from documentations or code of ethics that should be prevailing, even if time is pressuring us and other pressures are surrounding us. Another important point that we should confirm in this conference this year that we are with AI and we are with all of the challenges. We have the duty to have networking and to have solidarity to promote the spaces of freedom in the Arab world and to support the independent journalists so that we will deliver our message in the best way, whether with the AI or without it. Solution and appreciation for all of you. Thank you very much, Hassan. I hope that your intervention, the means of social media, will be put it as it is. This is among the best interventions that I've heard today. Keep it as it is. You say it's a partner and not an alternative. We are in a fight for existence. This is not the business as usual. We are not in a situation that we will accept the situation as it is because it is not as it is. Thank you. I'm very happy that you are in the virtual work, and I call you all to watch فكر تاني. It's an independent, brave platform. I'm Nuruddin Khamaisa, the head of the digital section and the media from Al Ghad. Well, what Hassan have said, I will be speaking close to him. I do not name what we see is a flood of information or an influx of information. It's digitalization, especially in the social media. Well, I will take let's think of the solution. We have had an experience that we have decided that our slogan is to search for the truth, and that is meaning to search for the truth. We have decided that accuracy exceeds the speed, and this have imposed another challenge that is related to the decline of the audience and going towards other platforms that are rapid in publishing. So here we should have find solutions, and the solutions come from within the institutions and journalists themselves. We don't have any form to be applied here, so we have sought where are the absent audience in our work. There's we haven't targeted certain amount of audience. We have worked on a different class. We have discovered that we don't have a podcast, and podcasts have a vast audience who have worked on the podcasts. Currently, right now, we are noticing that the young people are declining. So we will have a content directed to the young people or the young generation. And what I intend, that I work in a private sector and an independent institution that is work based on the businesses, that is 1+1 = profit. This is what we should have. So from within the institution, we are finding solutions to face this influx of the information or the fake news or misleading news or disinformation. So we should think internally for the institutions, for the individuals, for the journalists. How could we face this influx of acceleration of news? So now we are facing clear lots of bubbles in the social media. If you want to follow them, we will see ourselves in places that do not achieve our purpose or method or messages. This is a call for you to start to think about the solution so we can benefit from the ideas of each other. Thank you very much. It's a very important about the withdrawal of the audience towards other platforms that differ in the content and in this depth. But I have a comment about what Hassan have said and what Aya have said a while ago. I believe the issue of the media literacy is not different than any other literacy. If we return with the time, not a long time ago, but there are different times of education that you have refused, perhaps parents, and now we are returned to it because is the base. For example, the sexual education at a certain period of time was prohibited, but who today does not raise our children on sexual education? And this is listed on the other part of education. If we see, I will be away from the AI as a journalist, I will not go through that because it is misleading or because it is a hallucination. I'll be among the ignorance, unfortunately, because this is the world that we are approaching right now. We should always learn. We are in an education process that is non-stopping, regardless how old we are. There are people who are preceding us, or there are techniques that will take us, or we will be going aside with it. And another thing that I believe that was triggered by some, and I've heard it a lot in the forum, that is the issue of self-monitoring. Since the old time, we have heard about that self-censorship, and we are with among outside its framework. If we have thoughts among ourselves, we see that there are some restrictions that we put that they are not there. We limitations we put because we want to be in the safe zone. And we do not want to put ourselves in risk or jeopardize our safety. Perhaps it is not there. This is another type of the challenges that we have created by our hands. And perhaps with a little bit of challenge and bravery, we can face it.
Thank you, Nadine. Abdul Latif, can you please unmute your mic? Abdul Latif. Abdul Latif from Tunisia, and I work at a satellite channel, and I am a fact checker. Can you hear me? Yes, clear. Thank you for these rich topics, and I wished I could be with you, but other commitments have prevented me to be with you, but I have been following you online. I have a question about the use of AI. To what extent do you see that the use of AI in fact-checking can contribute in enhancing the reliability of the content? And how do you expect that this increasing use of AI to affect on the role of journalists in the future? Thank you, Abdul Latif. We are proud that we are capable, and we thank ARIJ and the donors to transfer all those activities to you through the virtual world. Some people cannot be with us because of other engagements, and some people don't even have passports or visas. Two important questions. How can we use AI in fact checking? We at the Arab Network for Fact Checking, we train 300 fact checkers from 16 Arab countries on the use of AI in fact checking. And at the same time, how can we audit the wrongful content that is being published? And you have seen the development in the videos and photos. The regular person now cannot differentiate if it is real or AI produced. And will AI change journalism? Of course, it will change it. And we don't have an answer. I am sure that even the largest tech companies that have been working on that since the 70s are really wondered and surprised by this development and this accelerating use of AI and how it will be affecting the content as a journalist, but how will that be after 5 or 10 years, even with regard to our content in the Arab language? We need to learn fast and to protect ourselves from AI. This is the only solution to stay isolated, and, like an ostrich, to bury our head in the ground and wait for what will come. This is something that we have done mistakenly in the past, and we are 5 years behind our whole world. So it is a mistake to repeat that once again. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, good afternoon, everybody. Dunya Hussein Farhan from Adan, Yemen. I would like to thank ARIJ and all the organizers for inviting me this year. And this is the first time, and I hope next year I shall be invited as well. We all know the conflict that is taking place in Yemen. We, as a journalist, we have a lot of challenges, but I'm going to talk about the challenges I am facing because I am in the National Committee for fact-checking, and we do monitor all the violations and all the governorates. The main challenge is how we can reach the victims in order to be able to cover the kind of violation they have been subject to. We all know that there are governorates which are difficult to reach, and we have thought of developing an application through the mobile app. They can submit their complaint and the violation they have been subject to without coming directly to us at the committee. And some people do not like to talk about those violations face to face. And so we thought of the idea of an application in order to receive on a daily basis complaints from all the Yemeni governorates. And thank God we were able to receive many complaints and overcome many things. But currently we are thinking how we can prepare ourselves if there is a specific violation or a specific victim. How can we convince them to speak up? Because we are planning to change all the violations from written testaments to make them on video, and how we can convince them to speak up about the violation. Also, we need to know how we can do fact checking, how we can create databases. We need to reach all the victims through the modern technology. We look forward to your support. Thank you so much, and I call all the people interested to a workshop that will be held tomorrow for 1 hour and 45 minutes by Mesqat, and it will be with an expert, and it will be a session open for everybody, how we can convince the victims to speak up. The idea of application is interesting, but you need to make sure that it will not be hacked as an application, and also how you can save those information on the cloud in order for them not to be lost. We at ARIJ, we only support the investigative journalist or the fact checker that did work with us. Only around 100%, and all the other colleagues this year, around 900 from the in person, are invited by our partners, and we are extremely delighted because this is something that enables us to network with everybody. And now I give the floor to Muhammad and Saber, and two last people in person. Muhammad, please unmute your mic. You have only 1 minute. Muhammad, unmute.
السلام عليكم.
اهلا فيك.
أستاذ بخصوص تدقيق المعلومات
With regards to fact checking
والتدقيق
and also, we have seen the armed conflict between Pakistan and India, the huge amount of videos and photos through Telegram and also through the news. How can we do a correct work in order not to fall victims of disinformation and misinformation that we have seen that for over a week. There has been discussion if the planes that have been gunned down by Pakistan and others are from this kind or that kind. How can we do fact checking about that information? With regards to the I don't believe that we need to over exaggerate this topic. AI will be helping journalists. Now the different application of AI help journalists tremendously. Thank you for that intervention, and I believe the end of the intervention is important. And also for fact checking, I believe Rawan can talk about it. Should we compromise speed on the expense of accuracy or vice versa? I do call on everybody to follow the website of the Arab Network for Fact Checking. And tomorrow there will be a whole session about that in order to reach the book that has been launched. There is a whole methodology available for all the fact checkers on how the fact checking could be taught. And there are issues that we cannot rush to. Thank you so much, ARIJ, and thank you for giving me that opportunity to be with you for the second time. Coming from Sudan, one of the challenges which we are facing is the lack of professionalism and the impartiality and bias. The war in Sudan has caused a lot of impartiality of many journalists that have received the trainings. And second, among the challenges as well is the increase of the different voices. Now, from the 15th of April, all the media outlets have been attacked, and many journalists have been displaced. And from the different restrictions in Sudan, many journalists did flee from Sudan. Many outlets are working on defending human rights and the right of a journalist, but at the end of the day, they have exploited the journalist with very low fees. And some journalists in the city of Bashar, and it fell recently in the rapid response forces. And for the last 30 days, unfortunately, the advocacy was quite low in supporting our colleague Abdar Ibrahim, and he was a correspondent for Al Jazeera. Now, among the things is how we can direct a journalist to advocate for the journalist and to release them from jail. Thank you, Haidar, and we are proud of Haidar because he was training the journalist exile and also on the issues of AI in particular. Abdul Qadir, I am a person interested in creative writing, and I have a fear from AI. The language of a journalist started being deviated, and in particular in the coverage of the news and the report, it has been said, many of our colleagues started using AI, and I started depicting a lot of mistakes in the use of the Arabic language. And so the AI started using a specific style. For example, one of the style is that this, but no, that when we believe that this bell has repeated more than once, we know that it is AI. And now we need more training on the creative writing in our journalist world, and how we can enhance the content of Arabic language and by using AI? This is a very important question because we have a shortage in the language repository because of the lack of reading. And now all of them started writing with the same style. If we continue that and follow the app from the school to university, because they are using the same pattern, and researchers previously we used to say that they cannot speak because they are sitting in front of the screen. Now they cannot write because there is a challenge, and nobody has an answer how we can face that, because unfortunately the large institution did not put that on their priorities. And part of it is when we look with inferiority to ourselves.
السلام عليكم.
Be upon you.
أنا عندي احتجاج.
I
أنا محمد
I'm
رجوب صحفي
Mohammed
فلسطيني.
Rajoub, a Palestinian journalist, and I have a complaint. Well, of course, the person is an enemy of what they do not know. And therefore, when the radio came, some people were worried, and then the TV, and then the internet. But in the AI, I believe that the approachment is different. The approachment is different, that it is unknown and we should be fearful of and then adapt with. However, the radio or the TV and even the internet used to open job opportunities for the journalists. It used to include new sectors and new journalists. We are in front of a beast that may kick us all from the newsrooms. We don't know to where it will be taking us, perhaps within the coming years. And also, we are before an influx of information or a flood of information, and they are constantly increasing and the quality is reducing. Versus that, we are in front of recipients have been taken their disparity for over years. They prefer to select the information. They identify what is the truth that is in line with what they believe because they don't want more disparities. And when we work on the genocide, we work on atrocities and about dictatorship and etc. So people do not stand such news. They are in need of those who will be making them comfortable. And AI give them this comfort. Well, I cannot let go of the principles of the profession that I've been working on since 20 years, and to present what the listeners is presenting. We are in a compound, complex challenge. If we have adopted with us, they will be kicking us all, and if we face it, they may crush us and exceed us. We don't want to be desperate like Rajub. What will we do? We cannot do this or that. What we can do? And therefore, what we want to say, so there's a large problem. There's a serious discussion about the fruit, about this frame, but it is very important to understand what we have, and to face it. But we need to understand it accurately. And the refraining from attending the news has happened worldwide. And right now, we are refraining from the information a person does not know. And it is not that it is not convinced that you do not listen to the news because it is all about disparities and pain. Yes, of course, it has lots of pain. And but they told them you should not know any information. You have a house, you have a car, your children are in school. Everything is good. Why do you need to know the rest? This is the ideal life. And this have started since the cinema. It has not started recently. It has started to what is the ideal life? Is the ideal life that I want to know to be a citizen participating in the community, or the ideal life that I do not know and live my life? We are facing inquiries of values about the philosophy of life. Why are we there? But we want to put a glimpse of optimism. How will we continue? How will we challenge? This is the question. Allow me to take the time of Qusay, or a little bit of the time of Qusay, to comment on what Muhammad have said. Our concerns are a lot from the AI. I believe these are renewed concerns that we have seen years ago when there was the robots revolution, when the robots have interfered in surgery and medication. The doctors, they were fearful. They said that we will remain at home. But I'm not among the optimistic in general, but my personal opinion that the mind will not exceed, that the human will not be exceeded by anything, all originated by things, not the AI and not the technology. We create this technology, we guide it, and we are the ruler of what is coming out from it, unless the media outlet decided that the mind is set on a side and the AI handle things as they want. But if you were working professionally in a media outlet that respect the recipients, it will not allow this to happen, and a human will remain the ruler. This is my opinion as Nadine, and I believe each media outlet respect itself and its audience will work in this path. Yes, Qusay. Good evening. I'm Qusay As-Sukhi, an independent journalist. The last challenge for me was this forum that I was among the news team that was organizing this on behalf of me. And I thank ARIJ for this important opportunity to be here. My question or the challenge that we may face in the coming period is development, the citizenship journalism, and how could we differentiate between it and the real journalism, that is the reporters and the journalists in the world. Thank you, Qusay. And this is a long discussion, the influencers and the journalism. And I want to ask Nadine, what is the newsroom experience? I see newsroom, I see them and everywhere. Well, allow me to take this place to thank the team that was with me and still in the newsroom. Well, perhaps a person thinks that having 30 individuals as volunteers from outside ARIJ in the newsroom is a challenge. Yes, it is a challenge. Yesterday, it started as a challenge, but ended today. And it ended as a great opportunity. The volunteers have all came out happy, and they felt that they are a part of something big. In the morning, my tension was so high, it reached the sky. How will I be supervising the whole team? How will I be giving a benefit for everybody in it? And how will I benefit from them and that? But this challenge have ended by the end of the day because the results were amazing. And perhaps you have seen the newsroom moving everywhere, and they were in every place from this room to Gaza to the other workshops and even in lunchtime. So I thank them here, and their efforts are highly appreciated. We have benefited from you and hope that you have taken the benefit. We still have the opportunity tomorrow. All of my colleagues in the newsroom are available with you. They will be with you. In addition to be participating in all of the open training, tomorrow is the richest training because we have training with experts that are open from all the world, Arab and the globe, in different rich, important information. Tomorrow, our colleague Ola from Norway will be speak about the investigative about the pager bombing in Lebanon. We call all to attend it. In the virtual work, we have our colleague Fadwa says, don't you believe that we should collaborate our efforts to have an alternative AI to be given with the narrations that are biased? What are the obstacles that may achieve that? Our colleague Ahmad Nasif says that extended thanks for ARIJ for this portion. I believe that most of the forms of the AI have been trained on Western AI that have had biased algorithm that defame our situations and then analyzing the massive data. How could the investigative journalists use the AI as an assisting tool without having a fault for the biased literature in the context? Dr. Saber Fareha, the challenge that are before us, how will the journalist express themselves? And this is the voice of the audience. We will try to open the door for Dr. Saber because in the first time he was not able to do that technical. Can you open the mic, Dr. Saber? Hello. Yes. Thank you. I'm very happy to communicate with you again from Tunisia. And ARIJ is an important highlight in our Arab region because it gives the floor for the media environment that is liberal and democratic. And this is coming from what is presented to us as journalism in providing our potentials of knowledge and also our professional performance, a challenge for us that is posed as a context in the profession of creation. As Jacques have said, that the journalism of the right does not have dinner at home. So therefore, these are the challenges that we have. And I believe that the lesson in Gaza, as you have made, as we have seen, as we have followed, whether in the forum or behind the scenes, this is the most important one in the journalist world. I believe that there's a review for my follow-up in the forum yesterday and today. I've noticed that there are in the assessment of the Syrian experience, I've seen that the journalists speak about the de facto quality and the media integrity, that we should be working with that. I believe we should not be talking about the freedom of journalism and expression, noting that the journalist work is advanced and this is the forefront in defending the freedom of expression. I believe that we should not speak about the freedom of journalism where there's a media or a Ministry of Information. We used to have a Ministry of Information, and under the pressure of the authority, they had to change this ministry and move it to the Ministry of the IT. And then it was attributed the tasks of the, but this journalism work, this is not what I've heard. So that I would not make misunderstand what my colleague Nadine have spoken about the self-censorship. I believe what about the knowledge restrictions and the freedom of expression, but we are speaking about another alternative, what is called the tools of self-regulation or censorship, that the journalists rule themselves with different tools, reorganizing their work professionally and through identifying the codes of ethics. And so I believe, I wonder from the use of the fear and concern from the AI. I believe that this is not justified. The AI have made us more fearful. How could we protect the journalists from themselves and from their colleagues as well? Because we are also living in another problem, that is the absence of the principle of the journalist solidarity, and we see some practices that we cannot see in other professions. We confirm the ethics of the journalism world because it's a reference, because the only window that we could not decline on any mistake, because any mistake is an ethical mistake. And here we come back to the issue of the media literacy. And I have spoken about it, and I've sent as well to you and reapproachment in this phase, but you did not respond to me. So I was very happy during the networking to pose that, and I've seen that. I've had listeners, and this have broadened my heart. Thank you a lot. Thank you, Dr. Saber, and I've read your message.
Thank you, Dr. Saber. I did read your letter and I did share it with the team. There are different schools of thought, and this is a healthy discussion between the academia and the journalists. And we are extremely interested in the academia and how we can support them and the different curricula and the different investigative journalists. And these are not information that are classified. We open that for the academia to use them as a partial course or a full course in the universities. Asma al-Masalme, a Palestinian journalist and a member of ARIJ. Last year, most of the media outlets, including ARIJ, have been affected by the suspension of the American financing because of the Trump decision, which really affected the work of the independent or freelance journalists in the Arab world. How was ARIJ able to get around this shortage in financing? We and our way in supporting the independent journalists is by supporting what they produce and the different investigative articles. And like you have said, yes, we have been affected by a shortage of support, but thank God we are trying still to support the journalists. And this forum is organized with a budget less than one of last year, but with the effort of many partners and donors. And and also the understanding of the different independent and freelance journalists. And so we try our best, not only through ARIJ, but also through the other partners, to support the different journalists that are our priority in all our works. My name is Akram Al-Nachi. I am a Palestinian journalist. I would like to talk about the financial challenge that is facing all the independent media since we have started with something that is called the digital transformation. Media has digitally transformed, but at the same time, we have been deprived from the advertisements that were our main source of income, and how during the last year this has been reduced until we have reached now to a space where we need a new business model, and the media outlets try to readapt with the digital transformation, but at the same time we have the emergence of AI and we do not know where it is heading. What I want to say is that we need an Arab business model for the media outlets so that this business model will take into consideration our specificities and to what extent we can protect our independent outlets, and the private sector outlets can still continue. And unfortunately, during the long period of time in the past, either those were receiving financing or from begging from the media, and this is a main challenge that is facing us to continue as media outlets. Now, with regards to the AI, there is a challenge which are not being discussed a lot. Every routine work as of today has disappeared. I would like to tell you that all that disappeared. We have done an experiment a few days ago, and we did automate a newsroom. We have identified sources for AI, and we gave the AI general guidelines and not an editing policy, and a number of instructions and a publication tool. Simply, it will go to the website, it will take the news, it will edit it, reformulate it, and it will publish it on every platform. And we have done a small experiment, but all the people within that process, I would like to tell you, those will lose their job or their job will change drastically. But there is one urgent question, maybe there is no answer to it. Those that have processed the content through AI. What if, for example, the AI with the decision or not decided not to use my terminology? This is why we need to start thinking. For a certain period of time, we relied on the social media, and we have realized that the main control in the social media is not in our hand. And the last wars have shown that our efforts on the social media are being taken down, and the best instances, these will be published, but nobody will read them. Therefore, we do not need to repeat those mistakes. Once again, we need to have different Arab models for editing, to rely on them and to be in control. I do not want to talk about large language models such as ChatGPT. This might not be able to control it, but we are capable of producing certain forms of AI that will be editing different content which we can control. Akram, you have addressed many parts, but I would like to talk about the digital transformation, the business model, and the financing. Yesterday, we were talking about the viability of the media, and today we have talked about the digital transformation. We, as journalists, we don't deal with journalism as being a business, and maybe this is a mistake. The purpose of the journalism is to be able to outreach and invest. And I believe that investing in the journalists will have an impact. Therefore, many institutions are not result-based, but impact-based. And I also believe that this will be viable and sustainable. Therefore, we follow the impact and we try to develop it, and through partnership, not only working alone, because we believe that our a journalist project that doesn't start from publishing it, it ends there. And it is a case study that deserves examination. We need to look on to our work as a journalism as a project that is produced after publishing it. And those short-term journalists maybe will give up after the investigation will be published, but maybe there are other people will continue after the publication. Ansar Meze, investigative journalist from Palestine. Now, most of the talks have been revolving around AI, and I wanted to ask, is AI our main problem? While we have other challenges, we do not need to forget the freelance or not those that work in different media outlets. They are facing with many challenges, the lack of rights, the lack of fairness, neither from the local institution nor from the occupation, the low pay, many violations that exist. And if we want to go back to AI, if this is our current situation right now as journalists, the absence of all those rights, and that we use today AI as a supportive tool. What if it became a main producer of content? Today, now the whole world is looking for a cheap labor, and what will happen after a few months or years? The AI will be dominant, and in the first place, we are deprived of our rights.
What we will we do to raise this challenge? This is the reality. What we should do individually, partnerships and networks, so that we will address that. This is the reality. If we look at it as 1 + 1 = 2, it's a pessimistic. It will take us to pessimism. We need solutions to start before the challenges, and perhaps the forum is one of the forms of responding to that. Yes, Rawan, 7 minutes, 4 hours. Amman ends and time ends, and ARIJ is still standing. Thank you very much. This is one. Secondly, Nadine, you are a dreamer in your point of view when you said that the human mind will not be exceeded by AI. But where is the fear? The fear that the AI is gradually pulling the generations that are practically we are now here and living on the surface of Earth. We are repeating the future for them, even though that they will be more than us and we were not democratic in their behalf. The studies say that AI is gradually teaching people new methods of misleading. They will be misleaders, they will be imposters, fraud, and they will turn to that. How will that happen? This happens with the buttons on the phones or the keyboard. Today, and there's a point of view that said that we should be smart in handling the AI applications. What do we want from them, not the vice versa? This is what is the misleading, and we are trying to convince ourselves us. And this is the responsibility of the developers in the world. This is the responsibility of the academia, whether the school or university, or we go to the safe shore, or that we are on the edge on the pool, and at any time we may slip, and then everything will go in vain. This is the hope that we have. We are not dreamers and we are not pessimists. We do not want to be pessimistic or highly optimistic. I'm very happy that we are in the virtual world, and in the real world we were able to give the floor to the high numbers of colleagues with the interventions. Perhaps these interventions will assist us to form how will we challenge, how will we rise to the challenges, what are the priorities to build on it, the forms of training and support within the strategy of ARIJ for the coming 5 years. And this is the first time that you attend ARIJ face to face. And what is the difference in what is digital and face-to-face or virtual and face-to-face. It's a unique experience, and it was unique in the virtual world, and it is more in face-to-face. I cannot deny that. And everybody who was with us can attend. But this year, I feel responsible and vastly supported the responsibility because I'm here in a place and I see a number of people and I'm assisting people and I believe that I have the burden to support them and at the same time let them benefit. But I'm also supported. I'm supported from my colleague Sami Aish, the head of the communication department, and from you, Rawan, that you are giving me the floor to move fully and to be able to present and assess the situation. And after that, we launch towards it. There are lots of challenges on the ground and at any minute, but handling that with ease and also in supporting the people who are with us and our knowledge to them, our experience in networking with the presence of everybody. Many of the faces are familiar to me, perhaps because I've also worked on information and their bios. I know that I feel with the familiarity, and this is a unique experience that I want to repeat it in the years. God willing, Nadine and all of the colleagues will be with us here in the room, and virtual world will be with us to have the opportunity to meet face to face, because meeting face to face has a different meaning, but a challenge in the digital work to network together, to get to know each other, to protect each other, to assist each other, because as individual entities or individual persons cannot face all of these challenges that are ripping us politically, economically, and socially, and in the IT world. I want to thank all of the attendees in the virtual work, all of the attendees that have been with us in the conclusion of the second word. I thank Nadina Saifi and all of the colleagues and the support on the ground and virtually. Thank you. Meet you tomorrow at 10 a.m. with the third day of the forum.